What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be checking out a title called Bellwright. This is a medieval dynasty-styled open-world medieval sandbox kingdom builder. It's got a lot of influences rattling around inside of this one. But we're going to take a look at it here today for about 30 minutes. I've played the game for about 4 or 5 hours prior to the recording. So I think I've got my thoughts mostly together about the title. And strangely enough, actually, I think there's a lot of positives here. I think that this game is a suitable replacement for something like Medieval Dynasty as of right now in early access. So let's take a look at the game. If you wanted to get it for yourself, the early access is available down below in the description. On top of that, you can also take a look down there and you'll find a link to my Twitch stream. I'll probably stream this game on Sunday off of this save that we have going right here, just in case my thoughts are insufficient and you don't feel like I got to the bottom of it. We'll give it a few more hours so that you can see it in play. But let's go ahead and dive straight on in. So what is Bellwright? As I mentioned, this is a kingdom builder. It takes place on a massive open world map. There are a lot of places to go, a lot of things to see, and effectively you are in exile. So when you were a child, you were in the woods when the prince was assassinated. Since you were the only person around with your friends, you were all summarily hunted down as the aggressors, the people that assassinated the prince, and you have exiled yourself to the far fringes of the kingdom in hiding in order to rebuild and get revenge not only on the overarching king himself, but also on the people that effectively framed you. And you're going to do that through building a small village. And if you've ever played Medieval Dynasty, this is all going to be very par for the course. You're going to build up housing, you're going to build up storage, you're going to get different crafting workbenches that are going to allow you to produce different items. You're going to do research that's going to allow you to move down the game's actual very, very large tech tree as of right now. I've played for about 4 hours, 5 hours in there, and I've only made it like this far. And there's this far left to go. I don't even have like weapons and armor and things of that nature just yet. So there's a lot of things to fiddle around with here. As of right now, for where I am inside of the game, you may have noticed the large red notification that says I have a bandit raid coming in tomorrow. Your civilization does get raided in this game. You will need to keep your nose to the grindstone. You will need to keep yourself growing, but as you grow and as your society becomes more rich and wealthy, there's going to be a lot more people that are going to be coming after you in order to steal what you've got. The good news is every single villager in this game can tag team with you as a warrior. You can also leave them around as workers. I've found the automated processes in this game thus far to actually be reasonably decent. Once you figure out how the overall UI works, not really that big of a deal. All of your villagers seem to kind of do their own thing at their own pace and fill up the stockpile so that you don't have to worry about it. For the moment, what I need to do is actually I need to build some more housing because I've got enough renown right now. So you're going to do quests and you're going to kind of like work around the clock with neighboring villages in order to gain their trust. You're going to get a stat called Renown, which you can see up in the top left-hand corner. It's the little blue runey-looking thing that says 404, rune not found, next to it. Once you have enough of that, and once you've made enough friends inside neighboring villages, people will volunteer to come out and help you and assist you in growing up your new burgeoning society. It looks like we need some flax, we need some logs, and we need some wood in order to build that on up. And honestly, the building system in this game is pretty good. This is one of those games right now that's very, very controversial. There's a lot of people review bombing this game right now because it's made by the developers of Last Oasis. If you don't know the story of Last Oasis was a game that ultimately didn't end up getting finished, and this team moved on to this title right here with sort of, I've dug around a bit over on the forums, and there's been like some people saying that maybe they're using this game to raise up funding to go back to Last Oasis and finish it off. I don't honestly know. I can't really say anything about that. It would purely be speculation right now. But if you're taking a look at this game's Steam page and you've noticed that there's a lot of negative reviews, that's why. It's mostly people from Last Oasis being upset at the game. However, I do think there are some fair criticisms in there as well to keep an eye on. I can't store that right now. This right here is my stockpile. I'll give you a little tour of our civilization in just a minute, but I'd like to get this house up and running so that we can go recruit some more people. The first thing that I would say that I've noticed in playing this game is that just like Medieval Dynasty, this game is very much a slow burner. This is a game where you're going to spend hours and hours like building up buildings and wandering around doing quests and harvesting ingredients and looking for things that are going to make your life a little bit easier. You're going to spend a lot of time on the setup in this title. This is not a game where things are going to happen overnight. And in fact, I think that's probably the closest comparison I could draw to something like Medieval Dynasty. Just like Medieval Dynasty, this is a game that's going to take a while to spin up, and it's not a game that's full of pulse-pounding action either. There are adventuring sites, and there are places you can go in this game to find loot and fight wolves and fight bandits. The combat system in this game is ripped directly from a title like Mount & Blade Warband. If you've ever played that, directional combat, in my opinion, is the future of action RPGs. And the fact that the industry hasn't realized that yet is actually kind of shocking for me, because that's definitely one of those combat systems that I think is utterly fantastic. So when I've got a weapon out right here, we block to the right, we block to the left, we block upwards, we block downwards. We also swing similarly, if that's what you want to do. And so this game is going to be all about reading the enemy's intents from the way that they feint and the way that they move towards you. There is no dash or sidestep or anything else right now inside of the game. I think it would probably benefit from one, because actually this game has the same problem Mount & Blade Warband has, where when you're like 5v1ing, you basically get stomped out because the enemies can push past and attack through each other before your parry resets, sometimes clipping through each other in order to do it from time to time. And so that's one of the little things that I've noticed. There's a shrine over here. I'm supposed to visit all of these shrines to the old gods that are around the neighborhood. There's a guy out here in the woods. What's up, man? Donovan Klain. He doesn't even want to talk to me. One thing you will notice about this game very quickly is that everything is AI inside of it. So all of the voices, I mean, not like the artwork or anything, at least I don't think so. But all of the characters in this game have AI voices. I have read about on the forums. This is an issue for me. I don't like that one bit, but looking around on the forums, people have said that the developers have said that it's all placeholders. They're actually going to put in full voice acting at some point. It's just right now in the early access, it's not quite there yet. So I've just recruited another guy from the village. That's why I built that house over there. The more workers we have, the more people we have to feed. However, as I mentioned, the game is mostly automated once you set up all of your buildings, so it shouldn't be that big of a problem. What I'm actually going to do here is let's take that club right there. I don't think I need the club. And this village beggar that we just recruited, I need to talk to you, and we need to go into his inventory, and we're going to give him that club right there, because we're about to get attacked. It's nighttime right now, which means that tomorrow is almost upon us. And so I haven't actually seen a raid yet. We're going to hopefully this turns out okay, but I don't know exactly what's going to happen. As far as a tour around the village that I've built so far, this is the little housing area. So those are all houses. This is a workbench where we can make basic tools over here. Everything from traps that will grab animals out in the woods to clubs and axes. I've got a storage chest over here. I haven't had time to move things around inside the storage chest yet, but I have things inside of here. The other thing we may want to do is we may want to put these guys on companion mode, so they're actively with us right now, so that we've got like a little bit of a squad to follow us around. But as you can see, they're logging. You don't really assign people to jobs in this game from what I've seen so far. You don't really do that. Basically, what you'll do is inside, let's take a building like the foraging hut over here, which this is my stockpile. That's my weaver's bench so that I can make cloth. That's how I made this baller mantle. Right here, this is the forager's building. And just about every building has the same UI, so this is going to carry for everything that I've built in the game so far. But you go in here and you just set up work orders. And when people don't have anything to do, they just go take care of it for you. And that's that. You don't have to worry about anything further. You can obviously aid with all of these little problems. So one of our companions just left our group right here because he doesn't have any food. But let's say that I wanted to cook up some food right here. I'm going to need some wood. I'm going to need some mushrooms. Boys, can you get out of the way, please? We've also got, I've got 2 woods on me. I'm going to need like 2 more. He's going back to logging because I just put in a big work order at the logging camp over there for them to bring in like 1 million billion wood and like 1 million logs. And so I'm hoping that we actually shouldn't have to spend much time gathering inside this video. But the buildings are interactable, so like with the campfire over here, I can add wood to it. I can add the meat to these little spits on these sides right here, and this stuff will just cook up. And then when people are hungry, they just grab it out of the stockpile. I've also seen them when they're hungry grabbing raw stuff out of the stockpile along with wood and coming over here and cooking it up. And so the whole thing kind of runs itself. It's actually, in my opinion, fairly low stress. They take care of the things that I expected them to take care of at a much better proficiency that lowers kind of micromanagement than I expected. With games like these, with like AI that uses a step form algorithm or whatever to go fulfill their needs, there's usually problems, but they seem to do a really good job in this game. I don't know if they're, you know, just doing it simulated, like they're actually chopping down trees or whatever, but it seems to work out pretty well. I've only had to fix one of my AIs one time, and that was on the research bench. I had a research queued up with all the things inside of here. He went to go get some of the things that were inside of here in the meantime, and then he bugged out standing in front of it, but I just canceled it and then restarted it, and it fixed the AI right away. It wasn't that big of a problem, so you can take that one to the bank right there. The AI functions okay. So now that all of our food's cooked up for tomorrow, I'm actually just going to crash until the morning. Hopefully these guys don't need to be fed or anything else. But we survived our first winter is what the little notification for achievements is saying right now. And as you can see, that research that we queued up last night, they're bringing all the stuff over to the bench, and they're just working on it. It's honestly been great. He's cooking his own meal right there because he's hungry. I've been pretty happy so far with the gameplay mechanics that I've seen. Combat's a little bit clunky, in my opinion, but it's hard for me to derive whether or not it's clunky because I have very low combat skills. Like, there's not a lot of combat in this game. Like, I fought some wolves, I fought some bandits, and that's how much I've leveled up my one-handed. You do a lot more civic management in this game than you do fighting. That's one thing that you're going to want to keep in mind. And so, I don't know if the clunkiness is due to the fact that my character is relatively inexperienced at fighting, so he swings slowly and he attacks slowly, or if it's just inherently clunky. I will say that when you fight against, like, animals and things of that nature, you definitely feel the clunkiness there. And so, I'm kind of up in the air about the combat right now after 4 or 5 hours. I've got rugged trousers over here. Let's do the adventurer's garb next, but I need the tin ingot for that, which means I think we're going to need the bloomery. So let's go ahead and we'll start with a little bit of the old... blacksmithing. One complaint I do have is that food goes bad really quickly. Food usually doesn't even last like a day, basically. It goes rotten really fast. I think if we put it in a stockpile, it lasts longer, or at least... I think that if you put it in a stockpile... it delays it, so it may be just due to the fact that I slept with this stuff on me, but I would like to see food in your inventory decay a little bit slower. There are some resources and things, that borne in mind, that I might be complaining about a big old nothing burger right now, just because there are smoke racks and things of that nature that I've had along the way. If you look at his health bar over here, Another problem I've had with the game is ghosting, actually. They've got a weird ghosting problem with their health bars and with their icons. I don't know if it's going to come through on the video after rendering or whatever, but ghosting. You're going to see kind of like a blurriness to health bars and kind of like a blurriness to the little icons above their heads when they walk around. Kind of like ghosts behind them. And so that's going to be one of those things that needs to be tightened up and fixed as well. You'll also notice it during certain times of day when you're, like, running past trees and, like, leaves and things of that nature. But I don't know when this raid's going to happen, so I'll probably just cut back in when we get to the raid, and we'll see how combat goes, I suppose. Harvesting in this game feels decent. I like the chop animations. I feel like they've all been pretty good so far. I haven't really had a problem with harvesting or, like, pulling things off of trees or deforesting. There's lots of things around to find, from flax to berries to fights to trees to copper to tin. There are adventuring areas, as I mentioned. As you go through the game, there will occasionally be, like, caves or camps or ruins or things like that that you can loot in order to level up faster. There will be drops, for example, of skill books. That will allow you to these little plus signs right here. If you have a skill book, you just click on this, and it'll give you like a half a level as you read the skill book, and it usually takes a couple of days for you to read the skill book. Well, it says a raid is coming. Is it just one guy? Oh, no, it's a couple guys. All right, let's see what they're going to do when they try to steal our stuff. We'll head them off over here. Looks like they have, like, pitchforks or something. There we go. Beat them up. Whoop them. They came for our stuff. You protect those twigs with your life. And so there you go. We've won our first battle right there. Now I can probably effectively release everybody else. What do these guys have? 40 bucks and 2 scrap. That's good because I needed scrap for crafting. You can only really get scrap from people that you beat down. He also gave us a beetroot stew right there, which is really nice. You can manage all of your people over here inside of this area. It's kind of what I think they should probably do here is put a checkbox next to them that allows you to swap their status from like combat companion to worker much more easily or guard much more easily. But for now, it works fine. You can kind of like pan through and tell everybody to get back to work after you get done with a fight. So that's kind of what combat looks like right there. You're probably going to be no stranger to people running into each other and kind of like body humping each other while swinging if you've played Mount and Blade. It's very, very similar. You can give orders in combat. You can tell them to like stand in a certain spot and take care of business over there. But for now, I need to refresh my stack of meat. Unless everybody ate it already. It's possible that everybody ate it already. Whenever there's good stuff in here, it seems like they prioritize eating the good food first. Oh, they did not. Okay, well, my stack has been refreshed then. We'll throw the scrap up in there. We'll throw the beetroot up in there. I'll probably keep the berry jam on me. You may have noticed, but when I eat, your stamina and your health go up. This game basically draws pretty heavily from a title like Valheim in that regard. And I think I want to spend the day adventuring. I'm going to set up like a research that they can work on while I'm away. And maybe a building. And then I'll probably just move on and start fiddling with things. Taking a look around the landscape. While traveling throughout the realm, you will find various villages. You will find fights to be had. So one time I came past here and at the crossroads, there was a bunch of bandits standing around. They tried to jump me. But you know, because I'm a cold piece of work. I cold two-pieced him, bro. I took him down by myself. Who's this guy out here in the woods? Is that a bandit? Oh, let's get his ass. He ain't nothing but a loot pinata and XP to me. Let's go get him. I've got, like, superior... Oh, that's not the bandit right there. The bandits are over here? Oh, yeah. That's just like a guy wandering through the woods. Okay. I don't know what he's up to, but hey. There we go. Keep it on him. Oh, that guy's got like a sword or something. Come on. Yep, keep him lined up. Maybe he'll drop that shield and I can have it. He just fired an arrow. I've got more HP, so like I'm not too worried about charging into arrows here. There we go. Fighting them in the reeds. We will fight them in the reeds. We will fight them on the river. We will fight them on the lakey thing. We will fight them near that guy Dave's house. And that is how we will be victorious. All will know of the Battle of Dave's house. What do you have on him? You have anything good? Ooh, a beetroot. $11, a rope, and some scrap. I'll take that. What did this guy have over here? What you got for me, cousin? What's inside them big old parachute pantalones? We've got a bandage. Okay. And then the first guy that we swacked is over here. And it looks like he's got a hide. What's up, bro? Welcome to my humble abode. What does this guy sell? Oh, he's a fisherman. Okay. You can also sell people stuff. There is commerce and trade inside of this game. Different people want different things. Stuff you manufacture inside of your town. You can bring to this guy and sell it to him. They'll give you a list of the things that they want over here. Not everybody buys everything, but apparently he's a fisherman. With my little squad of killers over here, we're doing pretty good, man. We're kind of like taking care of business out here. Did that do anything for my one-handed? Dude, I want my one-handed to level up so badly. Are these bandits just like in the village? What are these guys doing over here? I see red dots on the map. Yep, there we go. Slam into him. There we go. Down he goes. I mean, the combat feels... I'm guessing when it speeds up, it's going to feel a lot better. Damn, that guy had, like, diversification in his pockets. 36 bucks? That's what's up. None of them really drop finished products, though, so I get the feeling that the game really, really, really wants you to kind of craft your own stuff. Not too bad on that front, though. We're performing reasonably decently in combat. But then again, I'm buffed to the 9s right now off of, like, really good early game food. So it's going to be tough for the enemy to take me down anyways. If you see birds in the air, so every now and again you'll see birds in the air circling a location, that usually means that there's bad guys or something to explore over there. Just as kind of like a visual indicator of what you can get up to. You do get renowned for taking down enemies and defeating bandits and things of that nature. If you defeat certain enemies near certain towns, you will also rank up your reputation with those towns. You need to have a certain level of reputation with various towns before certain quests will unlock. Some of them are also, like, time-locked, so some quests won't show up until, like, day 10, for example, when you're playing the game. Oh, there's a guy with a shield over here, huh? All right. Well, let's see if we can work him a little bit. If you get in behind him... There we go. My man's getting torched over here. Got him. Don't get hit by an arrow, bro. You got no health left. No! Well, we got enough renown to replace him, but I didn't want to lose a guy. I actually haven't lost a guy before yet. Yeah, bandage Elwood right there. That's good. And then I also want this guy's loot sack. Where's his loot sack at? He's got 14 bucks. That's good. Can I, like, res this guy? Or is he just dead? I think he dead. I actually kind of dig that, though. Although I'm kind of wondering, without some kind of immigration system to have people sort of filter into your village once you get to a certain level of fame... Ooh, this guy had all kinds of goodies. Shields and 2 cookbooks, huh? And then who's this guy over here? Just like living out in the middle of nowhere. What are you, like an herbalist? Yeah, he's an herbalist. Okay, does he want to, like, buy any of my stuff? He does not. He'll buy mushrooms, though. And mushrooms are pretty plentiful. I was looking around over here, trying to figure out if there was any copper mines or any tin mines over here. I've only found one spot that I can mine so far, but, like, I don't have a pickaxe or anything yet. I've only been able to pick up loose stuff off the ground thus far that are kind of, like, around the mining spots, and I need more tin. Otherwise, we're going to be kind of, like, locked down, and I'd like to get to the next tier of goodies. Well, I guess he's not permanently dead. I looked it up. Okay, so that solves it then. Apparently, after a little while, they returned to our village as though they were on a journey. So I guess somebody gurneys them out of here and, like, heals them up, and then they come back to our village. Okay, that assuages the issue altogether, because I was thinking, once you get up to bigger battles with, like, 20, 30 people involved, where you're actively taking casualties in big battles just through attrition and randomness of, like, arrows flying around, I was a little bit concerned that replenishment would be overly micromanagey, but it seems like they've already figured that problem out. And just like that, we're going to come up on, like, the end of the video. Actually, I gotta check my... This one might be a little bit shorter, okay? I've been playing for a while, but after edits and things, you can never tell. I wish that I came into this game and it sucked. That would make this whole video a lot easier. I would get to the end of the video and I'd be like, well, the game's not that great, so you don't really need to worry about the developer, the publisher, or anything else. Just skip it. Unfortunately, well, fortunately for the game, that's not the case here. This is actually a really fun game. I'm doing this little section in post, having now played it for about 10 hours and grown up my colony for a while, and the game is very enjoyable. If you are the type of player that very much enjoyed Medieval Dynasty, and you wish that Medieval Dynasty had Mountain Blade armies and Mountain Blade combat, and you can customize every single person's equipment, and you can customize their armor, and they've all got their own skills that level up, and you can assign them to different jobs and things of that nature. If you don't like micromanaging, your colony more or less just seems to run itself once you set up all of your item limits. There's a lot of good stuff going on in this game, like exploration thus far has been very rewarding. I found ruins, I fought bandits, I found quest items for quests that I didn't even have yet, which had me sort of curious where the storyline was going to go. It appears as though you can have multiple villages at the time that I've been playing now, after streaming it for a bunch of time. And so, this is a game that is actually much better than I expected it to be. The only thing I would say here is that the decision that everybody's got to make is whether or not they want to give their money to a developer that pulled a runner on their previous game, Last Oasis. And then they're also being published by companies that are known for not really doing a great job supporting their games either. And so this one's a tough one because they seem to have actually made a game that is a great deal of fun to play. I don't have too many complaints about it. If I did have complaints, I already brought them up in the course of the video, and that was mostly visual stuff down there. I think the opening cinematic in this game uses AI art. I can't tell, though. Somebody else will have to watch it. I'm getting old, and my eye's not good at identifying all this new stuff, but it looked to me like some of the pictures were done with AI art, so if that's a deal breaker, you're not going to like that. The AI voices in the game are going to be replaced according to the developers, and those aren't permanent. Those are just placeholders for right now in the early access. But this is a complicated case of a developer that ran out on their last game, now having made another game that is actually quite good and very enjoyable. I've been enjoying my time with it. So my best piece of advice here would be, if you are on the fence about these developers or you got burned on Last Oasis, wait 6 months. I've played the game now for about like 8 or 9 hours, and I'm not even remotely through the tech tree yet. It seems like there's a lot more content left to go, and I also have not hit like the storyline cap or anything else like that. Seems like there's a lot of stuff to do. Seems to be arranged well. A lot of good quality of life inside of here that I've liked tremendously as well. But that's kind of the elephant in the room, is that this is the case of a good game with a development team with a controversial history, a publishing team with a controversial history. And so I think that's going to come down to just how risk-tolerant every consumer is. I did buy this game out of my own pocket, so this was not a press key. I wanted to make that clear. So I did have skin in the game on this one. And I still felt it very fun to play. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Today, we were fooling around with Bellwright. Tomorrow, we'll be fooling around with something else. Was that a weirdly long pause right there? It felt like a weirdly long pause. I'm going to stream the game over the weekend so you can check it out there in case this video was insufficient. I know it's weird to be like, this 30 minutes was not good enough, so come watch me for 4 hours. But like, whatever. Swing on through. I'll see y'all next time.